Alright, hey, it's me again. It's John back with another video. So, I was cleaning up my room today. Something that, most people should do because they have a ton of time now, obviously. And I was rummaging through all my stuff. I came across these little gems. Actually, a few gems, actually. Well, so, I came across this. What's this? It's a whistle. Whistle from when I needed to work. Waterproof. Well, not waterproof, but this one. It's a whistle. It's a fox whistle. Doesn't have a bead in it. Basically means if this thing gets wet, I can still blow a whistle. Make sounds. This little patch. Got this when I completed my NLS, my first official lifeguarding course. Still have it. Don't use it. And I got these little things, little stickers that I gave to little kids when they passed or when they failed. Slap them right on, make them feel better for failing their little class. So, since it's the summertime, I feel like there's just like a few questions that I find most people don't really know or aren't sure about the answers to. And I find one of them is like, should you be able to leave your baby by the poolside and you be able to go in the water by yourself? Technically speaking, you might be able to relate to this, but at least at the pools I worked at, there was a strict rule where if your kid is under 8 years old, no matter how good they swim, you have to be within arm's reach with them. And if not, we as lifeguards would be like, hey, you, together, get closer. And that was what we did. But then there was another mentality, which is what happens if you have like a toddler. Say, for example, you have two kids, one's older, one's like a toddler, and you go swimming, and you play with the older kid in the water, and you have the baby like far away from, the poolside, and they're in their little cradle or a stroller or whatever it is you put babies in nowadays, and you leave them there. The mentality is like, nothing's going to happen to your baby. They're super far away from the water. They have their toy, they're sleeping, they're well fed, they're fine. As long as no one bugs them, right? And you, as the adult, you're in the water, either swimming by yourself or you are playing with the other kid. That's kind of usually the scenario that we as lifeguards come across about why the parent would leave their baby off to the side. And I remember getting into a slight kerfuffle with a mother, going like, hey, woman, you gotta stay together with your baby. I didn't say it like that, but that's how I said it in my head, and that's how I thought it came out. I probably said something along like, hey miss, we have rules here, you gotta, stay within arm's reach with your little baby. And she wasn't having any of it. Her mentality was like, the kid's far away, not from the pool, we can still see the baby, both of us could see the baby, locked eyes, right? The baby was like maybe 4 or 5 meters away from the poolside, so in no danger of drowning. And, God, I think a reason or some sort of excuse I told her to, stay with your kid is if you don't stay with your kid, someone could, walk up right to your little baby and, take the stroller or whatever you carry babies in nowadays and, just walk away. Which is really far-fetched if you think about it. Who would take someone's baby? And it's like, who would take this baggage of responsibility with them, right? But, she didn't listen and it wasn't really a big deal, but I can kind of see where she's coming from. The baby's fine, nothing's wrong with the baby, and, they're just off to the side minding their own business. So, then, why is it that lifeguards make it such a big deal about you gotta stay within arm's reach of a kid who's 8 years old and younger? It was either 8 years old or 6 years old. I don't remember, but, if a kid looked like they were obviously 8 years old or 6 years old and under, then we were like, hey, you gotta stay together with your kid. And now that, I've stopped working as a lifeguard for a good chunk of years, and I also worked at a law firm for a few years, I think I finally understand the reason why. Anything that the pool kind of tells you or the city kind of tells you, I'm pretty sure they tell you to do it to make sure that you can't sue them. What do you mean by that? With the little knowledge I learned when I was studying for law and working at law firms, every rule in place typically has a reason for being there, because usually what's happened is someone has sued the city for something and they won, and as a result, now they got to implement certain rules so that they can never be sued again. Kind of makes sense. So the reason why we tell you to stay close to your kid is if anything ever happens to your kid and we told you, the parent, that something's going to happen to your kid if you don't stay close to them, then if something does happen to your kid and you don't stay with them, we, as the lifeguards, can be like, oh, we already told you, you gotta stay with your kid, and this is what happens when you don't stay with your kid, obviously. And then that way, you can't sue the city. But if a lifeguard sees you with your baby, sees you with your kid, and you're not close enough with the kid, arm's reach or something, and something happens to the kid, then we, as lifeguards, could potentially be liable. So you, technically, would come and sue me. Problem is, I don't have a lot of money, so you go to where the money's at. So you sue the city. Which kind of makes sense in my mind after going to law school. So, obviously, city doesn't want to be sued. That's probably why there's rules. Lifeguards probably don't know why that's the rule. They kind of understand, you guys to be close enough with your kid to be able to, stay safe together. But also, on the other hand, as an adult, you kind of understand that no one's going to take your baby if they're, super far away from the water. And nothing should happen to your kid, usually speaking. So, that's something that I want to go over. Even now, I don't know what's right or wrong per se. In the back of my mind, I know if I'm a lifeguard, this is what I would tell people, hey, you gotta stay together with your kid. But as an adult, you kind of know your kid best, whether they're fine by themselves, whether they're a good enough swimmer, even if they're under 8 or 6 years old. So, it's definitely a little bit of a gray area, I would say. But ultimately speaking, I'm just keep your kids safe. That's all I'm gonna say. So, love to hear your thoughts in the comments down below. Do you think you should be able to leave your kid by themselves? Let them do their own thing, whether they are a fantastic swimmer or they're super, super young and, they won't bother a child's soul? Or do you think, yeah, you gotta follow the rules. The city says you gotta stay together with your kid, then you better stay with your kid. So, it's something I wanted to go over today, and that's basically it. If you have any questions, just let me know as well. Always glad to answer some of the questions I could. Anyways, I'm gonna be signing off now, so I'll see you guys later. Talk to you soon. Bye now.